add something very basic for those who are going through psychic attacks, psychic violence, and feeling pulled down psychically. I talk a lot, Ed, about how the channels are fakes who you think are real. So basically, you're deceived, and that allows for psychic attack to come at you. So long as you're being psychically attacked, you can assume that you're being deceived. It's harsh. It's really harsh, but it's true. And as you go along in your life, a human goes through phases when we think like, come on, okay, that's as many relationships as I'm gonna cut out now. I can't do further. And you reach a point where you realize that you can't go further in your life. You can't go further in your life. The things that you desire, the things that you want, love, prosperity, money, all of this, it's on the other side of you kicking motherfuckers out of your life. Because I don't know how else to put this, but you don't belong to yourself. You don't belong to yourself. You're a flame of the fire of God. And the fire of God isn't weak like what you think you are. You know? You think, oh, I'm so and so age. You think I have got this problem, I've got that problem. But the fire of God, that is you, your soul, your spirit, doesn't believe or buy into that bullshit. The fire of God doesn't think, oh God, I've cut everyone out of my life. I need somebody to speak to. So, it's okay. I'll be poor, or I'll just get on without my beloved. I've already gotten so far along. What's the point now? I'm 90 years old. All these things. But the fire of God doesn't buy this bullshit. The fire of God doesn't believe in age, weakness, and all this stuff. These are all manifestations of the soul not being happy with your life. They are not actual dead end situations. That's all lies. And so the fire of God in you always wants purity, the highest purity. Because the fire of God in you, that is you, wants the highest love. And you do not get the highest love. You do not get the highest prosperity and pleasure in your life with impurity. That's them. That's the demons. That's the fakes in their fake world. The more they sell themselves out, the more, so-called pleasures they get temporarily. That's them. That's their paradigm. It will never work for you. It will never work for a human being. And so the fire of God is just never going to settle for crap. And we just waste the days of our lives imagining that we're going to gain anything from delaying the ejection of motherfuckers, deceivers, betrayers from our lives. We're gaining nothing. We never did and we never will. And I want to say that we have to do what that takes to throw those who are deceiving us out of our lives. But there's one more thing, and that is actually why I started recording this, and that is to disidentify from groups. Because thug world groups, they are controlled by a fake. Otherwise, they are not allowed to be a group or an industry. And it is a massive opening for energy draining. And let me tell you, you can, let's say, okay, so years ago when I was a teenager, I used to attend a church, right? And my constant attendance there was proof of my being part of that group then. Now I'm really far from it and doesn't affect me at all. I don't give a shit anymore for that identity, or I've just come so far. That was 1998, and you know what I mean, it's been so long now. So I'm changed. I no longer am part of that crap at all. But they keep getting contracts to do black magic, to do psychic attack, to do rituals on me. They keep getting permission. You know why? Because they claim, Thug World claims, that unless you have made a particular symbolic gesture of withdrawal, until then, you still have a subconscious opening. Now, this is going to come across as really harsh, but to a large extent, you can stop cabals coming after you if you make symbolic gestures of withdrawing and disidentification. I cannot at this time give you the examples of how I have applied this in my life. But in the case of, let's say, religion, I've done stuff that was blatantly considered satanic in the church, like going to Hindu temples, wearing red, those bindis on my forehead, all of that. So in a way that kind of works, because, they're not going to get a contract claiming that I'm part of their church when I'm very blatantly doing anti-church activities. So I'm just giving you an example that worked a little bit to some extent, and the rest God has to show each person on their own. But you need to know that every group you have ever been part of, they'll get contracts, and it's not like they're really energy draining you. Okay, it's not like they are it's not like they are actually getting your energy. It's just that they'll come around. They just get permission to come try their best. And you know what, you can do without that shit. You can do without motherfuckers coming and preying on your social media and looking at your posts to see if there's anything that's in common with what you believed as a group back then, that sort of thing. You can really save yourself all those extra hassles, and it actually adds up to a lot in the long run.